Welcome to part 3 of our Renewed Heart, Renewed Home update. If you missed any of our past episodes, don't worry. You can get caught up by going to renewal.trinitychurchkelowna.ca and clicking on Update Videos. In today's update, we're doing a deep dive into all things ceiling related, and then talking with our project supervisor, Brian Homishin. This week, the last of the scaffolding will come down, which is a sign that everything related to the ceiling is officially done. Well, almost everything. The scaffolding was built to allow engineers, architects, and workers standing access to all things related to the ceiling without climbing ladders or using lifts. Now, with the scaffolding gone, anyone walking into the auditorium will look up and see a black ceiling and think, hey, they painted the ceiling black, without realizing just how much work has gone on behind the paint. I can't begin to tell you the amount of engineering, problem solving, and good old-fashioned sweat that has gone into all of the elements concealed by and attached to the new ceiling. In fact, there have been so many changes, it would take hours to unpack all the details. To spare you from that, I'm going to give just a quick summary of the work that has been done. But first, some important background information. Our auditorium, including the ceiling, was built in 2 phases. The water damage that started the whole renewal process came from a burst sprinkler head in the attic space in the original sanctuary built 35 years ago in 1987. In 2000, the room was expanded to more than double the seating capacity, creating a new ceiling area with completely different construction than the old. The square footage is about a 60-40 split of old wood versus new steel behind the drywall, making everything a little more complicated. Okay. With that as background, here's what's been done. The old ceiling was removed, including all the drywall and attic insulation. New insulation was then added on top of the exterior to match the newer section and covered by a new roof membrane. The sprinkler system was discovered to be 2 years from end of life and was torn out completely. Having relocated the insulation, that enabled us to replace the old dry sprinkler system, which could withstand the freezing attic temperatures, with a new wet sprinkler system, engineered to cost less to install and last 15 years longer, saving money both now and in the future. HVAC airflow was re-engineered and multiple return air ducts moved from the ceiling towards the floor to promote better air circulation. The ceiling fans were also relocated, and with a replacement for one broken down rooftop unit on the way, we hope to be able to keep everyone cool and comfortable, even when full to capacity at Christmas, Easter, and graduations. The section of ceiling above the front of the stage was sloped to eliminate a flutter echo right where our pastor and worship leaders would stand, which is fancy tech talk for when sound gets trapped bouncing back and forth between 2 flat surfaces, making it difficult to capture and amplify the message cleanly and clearly. The old ceiling was then re-drywalled, taped, mudded, sanded, and textured, and the entire ceiling was repainted. Acoustical absorption panels were fabricated and mounted by a small army of our very own Trinity volunteers. New, high-output LED pendant lights were installed in the high ceiling areas and LED pot lights in the low ceiling areas, replacing 29,000 watts of energy-sucking halogen bulbs, which incidentally not only saves on electricity, but also helps with the air conditioning, having removed a 29,000 watt heat source. And the list could go on with code requirements for seismic restraints and so many other details. So the next time you walk into the auditorium and look up, instead of thinking, hey, they painted the ceiling black, think to yourself, I'm so thankful for the 13 months and thousands of hours of work that have gone into making that ceiling its very best, so that I can hear clearly and sit comfortably. And a special shout out to all of you who volunteered to fabricate and install our acoustic panels. From constructing the frames, to wrapping the fabric, to stuffing the insulation, to attaching them to the ceiling, this would not have happened without you. So way to go. Overseeing all of the moving parts of not just the ceiling, but the entire project is Brian Homishin. Brian has attended Trinity for more than a decade and has over 40 years of construction experience. He has a spectacular relationship with the trades in Kelowna and is so respected because of his honesty and character. Personally, I've had the privilege to work side by side with Brian for 7 months now, and I'm so thankful for his excellence in how he's giving leadership to the project. But even more, why he said yes to this project in the first place. I'll let him tell you the story. Here's Brian.
Okay, so when I was asked to be part of the project, my first reaction was, it's too much for me. I got the drift of what was kind of happening here with the insurance work and then carrying on from the insurance work to the capital renewal. And so I kind of digested it quickly. And my first reaction was, I'm not in. So then after that, a full week goes by and I thought about it a lot and the Spirit is working in me and just going like, you got one more, Brian. And then within a couple of days, I was here. So that's the process. I've always been reliant on the Spirit directing me and giving me wisdom to do the work that I've done in the past. But I've really leaned into the Spirit a lot more here. Every morning I'm driving to work, I'm just going, God, I have knowledge, but I need wisdom, man. God, help me with the decisions that I have to make every day. What I learned is to just keep trusting God in what we're doing and trying to sense His presence and His wisdom to be able to do what I have to do. Well, the biggest challenges are over. The biggest challenges were to get the scaffolding down and because all the work that we were doing when I first came here, nobody knew we were doing any work. And so every week would go by and people are, nobody's seen any results. And so once we got the scaffolding down, then all of a sudden, everybody could see that, wow, this is starting to look like something. And by the way, the volunteers here have just been stunning, over the top, to be able to have a group that comes out, 20 or 30 people, to come out on a weekend and to build panels and to erect. It was just amazing. And and Joel has one huge gift in organizing the volunteers to be able to accomplish what we did. So far as going on, yes, we still have challenges, but it's like, I'm going to give the example of dropping a rock in a pond. When I first came here, there was a lot of waves, and we're making big decisions, big effects, and now the ripples are just, it's easier. I feel like since March, April, I felt very comfortable that we're starting to get on the rails. When we have our first service is going to be a big moment, but it doesn't end there. We still have to deal with maintenance issues in this building to bring this building back up to where it should be. And I've been talking about that for so long, and I think everybody's starting to get tired of me talking like that. But it's the truth. We gotta keep. But I'm looking forward to the day that we're standing in there and everybody walks out and it's a beautiful place and we're all able to gather and have 12 or 1,300 people in one service. It'll be so nice. I'm always the guy that sits in the back row and gets to my car and I'm off the parking lot. And what has forced me to learn here is by engaging in this project, is that now I'm involved in a building committee. I was involved in a bunch of meetings with the Board of Elders and then the community now getting here because now I'm visual. Everybody kind of, oh, you're the Brian guy. And so it's been giving me the opportunity to just feel more comfortable with people and so that's one thing for me, is just really opened me up to engage more. And what I'm sensing here is I've really noticed a big change since Christmas. And I have to say that the change has been, the Spirit is really moving in this place, and has been, and I sense that not just that I sense the Spirit in this building, but I also sense it in the staff And I sense it in worship. It just has so changed. And I think that I'm going to use one saying that one fella said to me, that there's a reason that we're in a refinery. And and now we're trusting and leaning in more on God and what He wants us to do. And I think that more and more I just sense that we're starting to get it, like what God really wants from us. And it's not just from me, but it's from what I want, but it's like it just spills over to everybody else. And then everybody else is spilling out from them, and it's just working towards helping us all, So my encouragement to this church is that we stay focused on being a light in this community, and we stay united and keep focusing on what the Holy Spirit wants us to accomplish. Thank you.